Hello, everybody. This is Judith from EIT Urban Mobility. I think we can start this info session webinar on our first targeted project call. Today, I'm here together with some colleagues. There is Garrett, Arthur, and Emma. So I will quickly let them introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Gareth McNaughton, Director for Innovation for EIT Urban Mobility, and very excited to be here to consider how we use all of the available mechanisms at our disposal in this new Horizon Europe programme.
Hi, thank you all for joining. My name is Arthur, and I'll be the one leading the part on the financial sustainability of this call, as well as part of the financial sustainability of the innovation department of EIT. Thank you.
And my name is Emma Cohn. I'm an innovation officer. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, and then we will share them during the Q&A section. And additionally, this session is being recorded in case you need to look back at it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm indeed Judith, here headquartered in Barcelona, and I'm responsible for the targeted project program. So welcome everybody today. I hope that we will be able to explain you everything about this new opportunity that screen. Great. So what will we see today? Firstly, we will have a call overview. We will explain you the two topics we would like to address with this call about who can apply, so the eligibility, the key dates that are important for you, and the available budget for this call. The second topic will be the scope of the call. So here I will explain you the objectives of this project, the KPIs you will need to comply with, and the return of investment that Arthur will explain you more about. The third topic is the application process. So here we will explain a bit more about our awards platform, how you will have to submit there and what you have to do before submission. The evaluation process is the fourth topic. Here we will explain you very briefly about the criteria and the different stages involved in that. And of course, we also would like to explain you a little bit about what to expect once the project has been awarded. And then there is some time for us answering your questions. So with topic one, I would like to give the floor for Garrett, because the project, the targeted project program is new. So Garrett, please go ahead.
So, targeted projects, what exactly is it? So, as you know, we have a normal annual call, and that's the bulk of our money from innovation is spent through that. But sometimes we find that there's gaps in our portfolio. You know, we give a list of topics that could be funded in a call, in a challenge area, but we might get 3 or 4 projects in one specific area, 2 in another, and we might end up with 2 or 3 of our portfolio areas empty. So this allows us, using this mechanism from the EU, which is called Annex 5, it gives us options to act. And we decided as EIT that we would like to use all of those mechanisms. So if we use these mechanisms, we can swiftly respond to some of these gaps that we've got, okay? It allows us to act in a reasonable fast time, usually 1 to 2 months, to be able to start a project, okay? It's a new framework. We've not done this before. Neither you've done this before, or even the EIT Budapest. They've not really used it. It's a new mechanism. So it's a bit new for all of us. So we're going to be supporting and careful, and we're gradually ramp this approach up, okay? So how do we decide if it's to be targeted? First of all, is there a key area, an emerging trend, or a new technology that needs to be addressed? Have we missed certain geographies? Are we underperforming KPIs? All these things are at the forefront of our mind. We also, though, and if you have been listening much to the political debates recently, technological independence and the competitiveness of the EU is key. We now are fragmenting what used to be a globalized bloc, and there's a large American program to rebuild the American economy, which gives preferences to technologies, provision, manufacturing in America, And we have subsidies and supports also happening in Eastern Asia and in Russia. So what we're seeing is a fragmentation there, and we don't want to be left behind on that. There may also be urgent topics that come from policy, regulation, or force majeure. For example, we have an energy crisis that has been exacerbated by a war on our borders. Okay, that's something that needs us to act. And so you will see that there's some projects that might come from policy decisions. Last thing is market failures. Sometimes when we see the market is protecting the vested interests of key players, regulation slow, blocking programs, delays, we would feel that we would have the right to act and intervene and try and resolve or be seen to act in an area that's highly contested, market failures. So these are the 4 areas that we would be able to act. So it's not just like if a partner fancies an idea and wants to come outside the call to talk to us, it has to be quite specific, okay? So happy to chat about this later. And with that, I'll hand you back to Judith.
Great, thank you, Garrett. So this is the background of this call. So the call opened the 22nd of February. Today is the 7th of March, the info day. And what is important for you to know is that the end of April, this call will close. In May, there will be the evaluation process. And in June, the projects will start. So, as Garrett just explained, we are trying to address important gaps in our innovation portfolio. And with this specific call, we would like to address 2 topics. So we will fund 2 different projects. So the first one is on sustainable and efficient waterborne transportations. So as you know, our cities are built around waterways. And these waterways are a competitive alternative for road and rail transport. They could be used as a more environmental friendly alternative, especially considering the fact that we want to free up space on land and to have less congested roads. Unfortunately, the traditional waterborne transportation still has quite a few challenges. As they still rely on the hydrocarbon combustion engines. So there is still a lot of pollution and discharge of pollutants. And also one of the reasons for a slow uptake is that there is a lack of docking and charging stations for instance, electric ferries. And it's these type of challenges that makes it slow for cities to uptake this as a alternative solution for a more environmental friendly mobility. And so topic 1 is that we would like to address this. We want to utilize our Europe's free waterways, basically. And therefore we are looking for a consortium to develop and demonstrate a real life setting, an innovative solution for the promotion of an efficient and sustainable solution for using these waterways. So this is the first topic that unfortunately until today through our main innovation call was not yet addressed. And the second topic is the democratization of large-scale ICT solutions for public transport operators. So what does this mean? To begin with, we as EIT Mobility want to work more with public transport operators because public transport is one of our, or mass transit is one of our key focus points, and we want to increase the competition of public mobility services. So what does it mean to make it more competitive? Is to increase its safety, its reliability, and the quality, to make these services more personalized, because everybody uses or has different needs. And we also want to blend in these public transport solutions with the more modern micro mobility solutions. However, in risk cities, so let's say the cities in Europe that are often more financially constrained, they have different problems than or different or more pronounced problem compared to other cities in Europe. And examples of these are that they have high urbanization, they have very often very outdated infrastructure, high polluting vehicles, because often they have a stronger mentality of car ownership. So having these specific challenges in mind, currently many of these cities cannot afford the off-the-shelf solutions that the technology multinationals are offering. And also often these solutions are not adapted to the local needs of these cities. So what we are trying to do with this call is to find innovative business model, innovative solutions from local SMEs that can offer these cities with large-scale ICT solutions that are affordable and flexible to be adapted to the local context. We want to avoid, with this call, we want to give alternative solutions compared to the typical multinationals that have proprietary technologies and that often cause a lock-in for these cities. So in this here, we are looking for a consortium in which a public transport operator will work with local technology providers that offer these type of innovative, flexible, and adaptable ICT solutions at an affordable cost. And very often, this also involves the use of open source software as the building blocks of these larger ICT solutions. So now I've explained the two topics we would like to see addressed through this call. So who can apply? As usual in the European framework, we are looking for partners from the EU member states and the Horizon Europe associate countries. We need at least per consortium 2 partners from 2 different countries, so it has to be international. But since with the targeted project, we are looking for smaller consortium that can implement in a more agile and quick way, we do not want proposals with more than 4 partners. So we're looking for smaller, more efficient consortia. Each consortia must show that there is at least 1 commercial partner involved that is responsible for the technology or the marketed innovation that I will explain you a bit more about later. And we want to see reflected in the consortium the ones that are responsible for the real life demonstration of the solution as part of the project. For topic 2, the one for the public transport operators, you have to know that this is within the RIS scheme. So that means that more than 70% of the consortium have to be from a RIS eligible country. And also we want the main demonstration and the money spent to be also within the RIS region. In the call text, you will find a link in case you don't know what RIS means, and it will explain you what it exactly means and which countries are included. And the other requirements for this specific topic is that the consortium must include at least 1 SME, because we're looking for local SMEs that collaborate with a public transport authority. So this consortium needs to have 1 SME and 1 public transport authority. So the call budget for topic 1 about the waterborne transport, we have available 300,000 euros of EIT funding. And for topic 2, there is 250,000 euros available. Please bear in mind that this is the EIT funding, so this is what we provide, but on top of that, there is always a minimum of 33% co-funding. So on the right, you can see an example. So if you're requesting exactly 300,000 euros, that means that you have to, the project cost in total have to be around 400,000 euros to be eligible. Again, since this is a targeted project, we want to be quick, agile. So the project duration is maximum 9 months, starting in June until next year, February. The call scope, the second topic of this webinar. What are the project objectives? The project objective number 1 and the most important is that we want to see the development of a new solution, so a product or a service, or at least an existing solution that is significantly improved during the project lifecycle. And the second objective is that this solution will be demonstrated in real life settings of an urban environment. So this is not a project to just develop your solution, it's really to demonstrate it in a real life setting. So that also means as we are working on this stage that the minimum technology readiness level should be 7 at the start of the project. So what type of solutions are we interested in? It's all written in the call text, but it's just, here you have some examples. It's broad, but to give you some ideas, we want energy storage solutions. As you know, one of the challenges is that we need more electric or hydrogen ferries. So we will be focused more on these type of solutions, docking stations, automatization solutions for these ferries, etc. And for topic 2, the type of solutions, also examples, are more usually data related. It's about 5G, Internet of Things. It's about big data analytics, mobility flow management, intelligent transportation system. All of these examples are also listed in the call text in case you need inspiration. Okay, so apart from the objective, we also expect a certain minimum of key performance indicators. The mandatory KPIs are the 2 darker green ones. The first one is a marketed innovation. So this is very much linked to the objectives. We want to see a solution that is new or very much improved during the project duration. And we want to see within the project duration that you have a sales revenue of at least 10,000 euros. And the second mandatory KPI is the real life demonstration. So you see that the 2 KPIs are directly linked with the objectives. Then there are also optional KPIs to make your proposal stronger, of which the most important one is the startup created. So if you incorporate a startup as part of the project, this is very positively evaluated. And here you can also see the other KPIs that speaks for themselves. So now I will give the floor to Arthur, who will tell you a bit more about the commercial side of the project.
Thank you, Judith. And welcome to everybody. So I'll be speaking on what we call the financial sustainability or the return of investment. So the idea is for us as EIT Urban Mobility to have this perpetual innovation fund, right? So the way we obtain this fund is, first of all, we're providing a certain amount to each activity in this call, in this topic, the targeted projects. And as Judith very well explained, out of this project, a new product, a new solution needs to come, needs to appear, and eventually this solution needs to be implemented into the market and therefore sell it. And what we ask is the financial sustainability mechanism to contribute to this perpetual innovation fund through different mechanisms, either equity, revenue share, or fee per transaction. So the idea is out of the total selling price of this new product that with our funding you developed, a percentage comes back to us. So that way in the future, we are able to keep funding new solutions and new projects. Next slide, please. So the idea is for this financial sustainability mechanism, it's either to be a revenue share, meaning a percentage of the amount that you'll be selling your products comes back to us, or a fee per transaction. Let's say you have a solution that for the waterborne infrastructure helps them recharge their batteries in case it's an electrical vehicle. Therefore, in each transaction, a part of the fee can come back to EIT Urban Mobility, or for the solutions or the SMEs that are developing or other commercial partners that are already in the EIT Urban Mobility portfolio, they can provide with some equity as well. So it's pretty straightforward. I think in the call document and template, it's already explained, but if you have any more thoughts at the end, I'll be more than happy to question. And then next slide, please. Lastly, this is also a service that we provide afterwards. Once your solution has already been implemented in the market, as the innovation advisory service, in which I'm part of that team as well, we can help you provide mentoring, market validation, improve your sales strategy, and so on. Usually, through implementing and the use of our network as well. So I think the financial sustainability, it's for those that have already participated in some of our innovation calls, you're already familiar. If not, it's pretty simple. We want either revenue share or a fee per transaction, or in case you're already in the portfolio, some equity, so we can keep providing in the future this kind of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Okay, so now you understand the context and the scope of the call. I would like to briefly introduce you to the application process. So before having to submit something through our submission platform, the awards platform it's called, you need to register just like any European project. You need a PIC number, and you do that. The link is also on the call through the EU funding and tender opportunities portal. So after you did that and you have your PIC number, you go and register on the Plaza tool. Okay. So also before maybe doing any submission, you can see all the documents that are linked to the call. You have a guidelines for applicants, documents attached that will guide you through the process. I also just realized I keep on saying awards platform, but it's actually called the Plaza tool. Okay, so I made some print screen of the tool. This is basically the application form. The first step, you will have to, what I put in red here, you can select from different areas. Of course, you have to put innovation, and then the innovation targeted calls, and then the innovation target. These are the categories you have to put before you start your application. Then you put your activity title and acronym, and the dates are from June to the end of February. Okay. The second tab here, you will give more details on who is a lead partner, your partnership in general, who will be the co-editors of this application form, and these type of contact details. And the activity overview, you basically put almost all of your proposal, talking about the scope of your activity, what outcome or impact you expect, the work plan, your results, what are the different partners and their roles, etc. Also, the FSM strategy is in here. So this is the biggest bulk of the content. And this specific tab is adapted to the targeted project because all the other tabs are similar for any of our innovation projects. Here you will be able to address all the important elements that were discussed now. You will talk about the innovativeness of your solution, the state of the art, what is so different and why should we fund your solution. And in the second tab here, you will explain what will be your pilot about so that we can see the feasibility and that you already thought about all the elements to make this pilot work. Okay. And in the third, you will talk about your solution. So you will explain what the product is or is not yet, what you want to be, and why do you think it's TRL 7 minimum. Okay, and also here in this step, you can attach the optional letter of support or intent from the demonstration enablers that are not directly part of the consortium. Step 4 is about the FSM. So what Arthur talked about here, you can say whether you will choose for a revenue share or an equity share. And here you basically mention your budget. If you want to know more and you're not familiar with the budgets, there is also a form attached on the project call webpage, basically, and where you can find a document that explains you more about the eligibility of costs. So these are the different tabs that you will have to complete as part of your submission. And then we receive the proposal and we will have to start evaluating. So I have one quick slide that explains you the different stages. I will not go too much in detail, but in the call text, you find everything very well explained, very transparently. So the first part, like always, is the eligibility. We will check if the project proposal is complete, if you are eligible, if you have the 33% minimum co-funding rate, and if you also have added all the deliverables and outputs that we requested, which is also explained in the call text, which they are, okay? Then if everything is eligible, if there's anything wrong, we can request something and you still have 5 days to rectify this error. And then we go to the first evaluation step, is a strategic fit. And here we will really think about, is this project within our strategic objective from the EIT Urban Mobility? Does it really fulfill the portfolio gap? So does it fit the call, basically? Does it address all the outcomes and impacts that we expect? So this strategic fit has 3 external evaluators, and then we will go to the next step. So if on the 3 criteria for the strategic fit, you have 3 on 5, so it's above the threshold, you go to the full evaluation. If you reach a full evaluation, we will look at things like the excellence that focuses more on innovation and novelty of your solution and methodology. The impact is more focused on what is your impact on the social, economic, but also the FSM, so the financial sustainability of your project. And the last one is the implementation. So this will look more about the budget. Does it make sense to budget with the planning that you have? Do we think it's feasible what you're doing? Okay. So this will count for 80% of the total. This is evaluated by also the same external evaluators. And then there is a 20% that comes on top of that, that is internally discussed. And this has much more to do with what KPIs. Remember that I said that you can add some additional KPIs, so you can maybe get some more points. It looks at how you cover Europe. And we also look at if we have previous experience with certain partners. Is this a duplicate of a project we already did, and this type of in-house intelligence that we have about these topics, okay? So this is the evaluation process. This all happens in May, and if everything goes well, you will receive positive news from us, and it could be, of course, still that there are some requests made from our side to make some changes in the proposal to make it fit even better with what we are looking for, okay? But the aim is to start the projects in June. Then, if everything goes well and the project has been awarded, the first step is, of course, all the new applicants that were not part of the ecosystem of EIT Urban Mobility yet have to become a member. This is mandatory. And of course, this is a positive thing because the EIT Urban Mobility has a really broad offering of different types of services that if you want to know more about this and how this works, the different prices, the different service offerings, I would recommend to contact your local innovation hub. And this is the project implementation. So the project will kick off in June. Then there's always some administration to be done. So the partner validation, in case this didn't happen yet, the signature of some legal documents. And of course, the real project is about the solution development, the testing, the piloting, and then we will monitor the project. We will visit your demonstration. We will do some testing to really check whether you're doing what is according to the work plan. And then the project end, it's about the delivery of deliverables, project outputs, and KPIs. This is my last slide that explains the outputs. So the outputs are, again, very much linked to the objectives and the KPI. The output number 1 is the demonstration itself. And the output number 2 is the products, solution, and service. In case you also tick the box for the startup created KPI, then of course, one of the outputs is the incorporation of your startup. And we want to make sure that the work plan is not full of deliverables and extra work for you. So these are the deliverables that we expect from you. You can add more, but we wouldn't recommend unless it's very crucial for a good delivery of your work plan. Okay, So now I've spoken for quite a while, half an hour. So now I leave the floor to question from all of you.
Judith, at the moment, we don't have any in the Q&A chat, but if anyone would like to add one, please feel free.
In case nobody dares to ask any questions now, there is my email address here. So for the general call questions, we can also put it in the chat, my email address. If you have more administrative questions, you can directly reach out to the project management office team. I can see one question. For the topic 2, is it necessary to be the SME and public transport operator in the same city?
No, I wouldn't think so. We're not trying to, remember, it still has to be an international project. So you're likely to have minimum 2 players. So it should be not a big issue. Okay, if you decide to have a city in Poland working with someone out of Romania, not a big issue or not a problem at all. As long as you work together, it's based on easy open source access to give cities that don't have huge budgets. That's the whole point, is that putting some management tools into these cities' hands that they own and they can update because of open source. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it, Judith. I mean, importantly, we don't expect this. It's very specifically and targeted written. It's not the same as an open call, which just anybody could respond. I mean, it's going to have to be SMEs and companies with strong skills in both open source and mobility. That's not a massive group. So this is not like a huge open call. Okay, it's quite targeted stuff here. So let's see how this works using a new tool for the first time. But apart from that, all looks good to go. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you everybody for being here. In case you have any questions, my email is in the chat. And good luck with the application. We are looking forward to hear more from you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.